Jai Mahamaya ki Jai, Vishveshvari Mata ki Jai. In our last discourse, we heard about the great warrior being destroyed of Shumbas. And when Sumba heard this, he was very distraught. He went to his younger brother, Nishumba, and asked him what to do. And Nishumba said, well, let's send our best warriors, Chanda and Munda, to fight that divine mother, that lady. And here we are on chapter 26. Vedavyasa said, O king, thus ordered, the two strong warriors, Chanda and Munda, hurriedly went to the battle accompanied by a vast army. There they saw the Devi, intent on doing good to the gods. Then they began to address her in conciliatory words. O lady, dost thou not know that the extraordinary strong Sumba and Nishumba, the lord of the demons, have crushed down the Devas and vanquished Indra, and have become intoxicated with their victory? O fair one, thou art alone. Only Kalika and the lion are with you. It is thy foolishness that thou art desirous to conquer Sumba, who is endowed with all power. I think there is no adviser to thee, man nor woman. The Devas have sent thee here simply for thy destruction. Think, O delicate one, over the powers of thine as well as those of thy enemy. Vainly dost thou boast of thy having 18 hands. Before the great warrior Sumba, the conqueror of the Devas, many hands and many weapons will be useless. They will prove mere burdens. So dost thou fulfill what reigns in the heart of Sumba. Vain is thy boast, O beloved. Follow my sweet words. They will do no good to thee, O large-eyed one. They will destroy thy pains and give thee bliss. O sweet-speaking one, thou art clever. Look at the great strength of Sumba. With thy eyes he has enhanced his glory by crushing down all of the Devas. And if thou thinkest the gods superior, that is false, for the wise men do not rely on the mere guess full of doubts. They believe what they actually see. Sumba, hard to be conquered and battled, is the great enemy of the gods. They have been crushed down by him and have therefore sent thee here. O sweet smiling one, thou hast been deceived by their sweet words. They, prompted by their selfish ends, have sent thee here simply to give thee trouble. The friends that come with certain businesses and selfish ends are to be rejected. Friends out of religious motives are only to be sought for refuge. Verily, I tell thee that the gods are terribly selfish. Therefore dost thou serve Sumba, the conqueror of Indra, and the lord of the three worlds. He is a hero, beautiful, lovely, cunning, and thoroughly expert in the science of amorous love. Thou wilt get the prosperity of all the three worlds by the mere command of Sumba. Therefore make a firm resolve and serve that splendid husband Sumba. The universe mother, hearing the words of Chanda, spoke with a voice deep as thunder. O boor, why do you use false, deceitful words? Fly away just now. Why shall I make Sumba my husband, disregarding Shiva and Vishnu and the other devas? O you, a veritable fool, I have no necessity for your lord. I have nothing to do with your lord. I myself am the lord of all the beings, and I preserve this whole universe with all the lords and beings therein. Note this, in ancient times I saw thousands and thousands of Sumbas and Nishumbas, and I slew them all. I sent hundreds and hundreds of demons and deitas to their realm of death. Before me, the hosts of Devas were destroyed in yugas after yugas. Today, the demons again will go unto destruction. The time has come to destroy the demons. Why then are you struggling in vain for your lives? Fight now and keep the dharma of the warriors. Death is inevitable. Thinking thus, the high-souled ones should keep their name, fame, and respect. What business have you to do with Shumba and Nishimba? Follow the warrior's dharma and go to heaven, the abode of the gods. Shumba, Nishimba, and your other friends and followers all will follow you and will come here, no doubt. O dull-witted one, I will put an end to all the demons today. Therefore cast aside your weakness and go on and fight. I will slay you and your brother just now. Next I will kill the proud Ratabija, Nishimba and the other demons in the battlefield, and then I will go to my desired place. Now remain if you like, or fly away quickly. What use is there now in using sweet words like a weak and distressed man? Well, take up your arms now and fight. Chanda and Munda, elated with pride, became angry and made violent noise with their bowstrings. The Devi, too, blew her conch shell so loudly that the 10 quarters of the sky reverberated. In the meanwhile, the powerful lion became very angry and roared loudly. Hearing that sound, Indra and the other devas, the Munis, the Siddhas, the Kinnaras, all became very glad. A dreadful fight then ensued between Chandika and Chanda, with arrows, axes, and other weapons, causing terror to the weak. The Chandika Devi became very wrathful and cut off to pieces all the arrows shot by Chanda, and then hurriedly shot arrows serpent-like on him. Then the sky over the battleground seemed to be overcast with arrows, just like the clouds get covered with a locust, dreadful to the cultivators. In the meanwhile, Munda, exceedingly terrible, came up to the field, taking with him his army, and becoming impatient with anger, began to shoot arrows. Seeing that multitude of arrows, Ambika got very angry. Out of her frowny look, her eyebrows became crooked, her face became black, and her eyes turned red like a kadali flower. At this time, suddenly came out of her forehead Kali, wearing the tiger skin cruel, covering her body with elephant skin, wearing a garland of skulls terrible, with a belly like a well dried up, mouth wide open, with a wide waist, lip hanging loosely, with axe, noose, sheather's weapon in her hands. She looked very terrible, like the night of dissolution. She began to lick frequently and forcibly dashed into the demon army and began to destroy it. She angrily began to take the powerful demons by her arms and pouring them into her mouth, crushed them with her teeth. Taking elephants with bells to her own power in her hands, she put them all into her mouth and swallowed them all with their riders and began to laugh hoarsely. Thus camels, horses, charioteers with chariots, all she put into her mouth and began to chew them all grimly. Seeing that the forces were being thus destroyed, the 2 great warriors, Chanda and Munda, began to shoot arrows after arrows without intermission and covered the Devi with them. Chanda hurled the Sudarsana like this, lustrous like the sun, with great force against the Devi, and frequently shouting thundering cries. Seeing him rearing and the lustrous disc coming towards her like another sun, she shot at him arrows sharpened on stones, so that the warrior Chanda became overpowered by them and lay down senseless on the ground. The powerful Munda, seeing his brother unconscious, became very much distressed with grief, but he got angry and began to shoot arrows immediately on the Devi. Chandika Devi hurled the weapons named Esika and thus cut off to pieces all the dreadful arrows of Munda in a moment and shot semicircle arrows at him. With this arrow, the powerful demon was deprived of his pride and made to lie down unconscious on the earth. Munda thus lying on the ground, a great uproar roars amongst the armies of the demons, and all the devas became delighted in the sky. In the meanwhile, Chanda became conscious and taking a very heavy club, hurled it violently on the right hand of Kalika. Kalika rendered that blow useless and instantly tied down that demon by her pasa weapon, purified by mantras. Munda again rose up and seeing his brother in that fastened condition, came to the front well armored and with exceedingly strong weapons called the Shakti. Seeing the demon coming, she instantly fastened him down like his brother. Taking the powerful Chanda and Munda like rabbits and laughing wildly, Kali went to Ambika and said, I have brought the two beasts very auspicious as offerings in this sacrificial war. Kindly accept these. Seeing the two demons brought as if they were the two wolves, Ambika told her sweetly, O thus fond of war, thou art very wise, so dost not commit the act of envy, nor dost lead them. Think over the purport of my work, and know that it is thy duty to bring the Deva's work to a successful issue. Hearing thus the words of Ambika, Kalika spoke to her again. In this war sacrifice there is this axe, which is like a sacrificial post. I will offer these two as victims to thy sacrifice. Thus no envy will be committed, i.e., killing in a sacrifice is not considered as envy. Thus saying, the Kalika Devi cut off their heads with great force and gladly drank their blood. Thus seeing the two demons killed, Ambika said gladly, Thou hast done the service of the gods, so I will give thee an excellent boon, O Kalika. As thou hast killed Chanda and Munda, henceforth thou shalt be called in the world Chamundaye. Here ends the 26th chapter of the 5th book on the killing of Chanda and Munda in the Srimad Devi Bhagavatam of Purana of the 18,000 verses by Maharishi Veda Vyasa. Jai Mahamaya ki jai, Vishveshwari Mata ki jai, Bole Baba ki jai.